I don't know how I'm going to quit the military, but I will find a way because I want to start working for myself. And this is how I'm going to enter the water of entrepreneurship, to jump out of my comfort zone. Maybe having a speech in front of 2,000 entrepreneurs with first-time microphone in English. I'm a soldier. I don't even know what to tell them, why I should be on stage, where they should listen. But okay, I'm going to sign up for it. And then I developed the speech. The speech was really nice. It was in Johannesburg in South Africa. So I'm Tasha Hoyer from Germany. I am now 31. Actually, I found a friend today. I've known her for some time, a German friend. Today we found out we have the birthday on the same date.
You've only just found that today?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You've learned something new every single day.
Yeah, I have a business academy with my business partner. So we teach women one remote skill, which is sales, like closing and setting, because we think this is the fastest skill you can learn to have a remote job. Yeah. And then in addition to that, I also do business data coaching. So it's called Existenzgründungscoaching for Germans when they are about to get self-employed and they already know what they want to become. Mostly they are becoming a coach.
When you WhatsApp me to be part of this podcast, you said you had a very interesting journey before becoming a business coach. What was that journey?
I was in the military before.
So I have a lot of questions, which is, why did you join the military and what were you doing in the military?
I think I joined because as a German, you want to have a really nice and neat CV. So I lived in Australia, like after my A-levels, I lived and traveled and worked in Australia for 1.5 years. And before going back to Germany to do my studies, I had a gap for like 6 months. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I thought I'm going to join the voluntary military service just to have this gap covered and to be trained by the military, by the discipline, by the respect and the structure and getting up early and, camaraderie and teamwork. And then, I ended up staying there because the superiors, I think they found a lot of potential in me and they went like, Tasha, you should become an officer, go for the officer's candidate. And then, I turned out to join the real officer's career. And I stayed in the military, actually in the Air Force for 7 years.
So you studied and lived in Australia for about 1.5 years, then went back to Germany and joined the German military. And then it was volunteer at first. Yeah. Then you switched to becoming an officer in the Air Force. So what did your day-to-day look like as an officer in the German Air Force?
It was a lot of education, but also basic training, like running in the woods, sleeping outside, learning how to survive, also how to fly the jets. And also, it was a little bit atypically, if you can say that, because I was also chosen to represent the German Air Force in France for 1 year. So I was based in France at the Air Force Academy in the Côte d'Azur. It's in the south, close to Marseille.
So, sorry, there's a lot to unpack there. So you learned how to fly?
Partly, yeah.
What type of plane did you fly?
The fast with the jets, the Alpha jets, like the fast ones.
What was that training like? Because that would have been quite intensive to go through a training regime to be able to be a pilot and then to fly these things. It's
you have to go through so many trainings, simulating trainings. We also did parachuting, so we had to learn how to jump and how to land and roll your body so you don't get hurt. It was a lot of marching, sports activities, lots of aerodynamics and statistics, analytics about the planes and the weather conditions, the different perspective of a plane.
What kept you in there for so long?
I think I had so many responsibilities from my superiors. So I had a lot of freedom, but also responsibility, which I liked. And I identified myself with the team a lot and the sports. And also every time you're in the barracks, you're surrounded by nature. And I love nature. And the money was also not too bad.
Yeah. So you got paid, essentially it was a job. Once you became an officer, it became a full-time job. Did you get paid to, obviously paid to study and to travel? So you were in France for a year.
Yes.
What age did you leave Australia to go back to Germany?
I was 19, sweet young 19 or 20.
And then you joined the military at 20?
Yes.
And then you stayed till 27?
Roundabout.
So stayed for 7 years. What was the catalyst for you to leave the military at 27?
I did not identify myself with the military anymore. The weapons, the armors or weapons. And I was traveling more and more, and I could not negotiate with my superior for more leave. I also had a long distance relationship at that time, so there was nowhere I could maybe do over hours and convert them into vacation. But there was no. In the evenings, I was bored in the barracks, and I wanted to do more entrepreneurial stuff. But the soldiers, they were sometimes a bit more primitive, or they just did sports, or they were drinking, or playing games. And I was like, and the barracks, they're always in the villages, so you could not just go to Berlin or Frankfurt and
Bali and
yeah, no way. So to that time, there was no Wi-Fi in the barracks, and it was so hard to even educate yourself and to connect yourself with like-minded people or aspiring self-employees.
So this desire to do entrepreneurship, have you always had that, or is that something that came in the later years of being in the military?
I think my parents were an idol for me already, because my mom she had a company to care for elderly people. So I've always seen her going with the cars to the kind of clients. When I was in primary school, and my dad, he was also teaching in different schools or having a small own company too. So I think we also lived with live-in nannies, because my mom was working. So I was raised in a very free environment, and that education is really, really important, and not to rely on someone like a boss or something, but also develop skills.
So you have this feeling, maybe the last 1 to 2 years in the military, and you want to leave. What was that process of quitting and then going back to, was it a job? Did you start your business straight away? What happened when you left?
Actually, there was a really, really, really huge decision that I took before I left. That was actually the transition in my mind already, because there was an American coach that crossed my way, and he was like, yeah, you can do a business coaching for 1 year, and this includes also being on stage and having a speech. And I was like, okay, why not? Let's just jump out of my freaking comfort zone. Maybe having a speech in front of 2,000 entrepreneurs with the first-time microphone in English. I'm a soldier. I don't even know what to tell them, why I should be on stage, where they should listen. But okay, I'm going to sign up for it. I didn't have that money to that time, so I flew to Germany to get a loan. Oh my God. Yeah. Paid the business coaching and went for it. And I felt like I had a diarrhea or something, because I had to digest this decision first. But then, I made this actually. Like, I had a good pilot friend, a close friend, who helped me with the speech and what to say, because I felt not worthy of saying something, Yeah, and then I developed the speech. The speech was really nice. It was in Johannesburg, in South Africa. We took my little sister with me, so she can see how the big sister is accomplishing with new challenges. Yeah, and that was when I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to quit the military, but I will find a way, because I want to start working for myself. And this is how I'm going to enter the water of entrepreneurship, to jump out of my comfort zone.
And this is your 27, 28 at this point. So you've done this, you've spoken on stage in South Africa. You're now into your business, or you've quit the military. What was it the business you have now is the business you started then? What was the business you started then?
During the military time, I was always trying to accomplish more, to get into business. So I was doing lots of sales jobs, like sales for others. It was like, for example, network marketing or selling medicine products, like high pricing products. Also in the finance branch or investment and real estate branch, I was like selling other people's products. So that's how I tried out different business models, where everything I just had to get a license, and then I was able to sell. So everything was ready already. I just had to learn the sales skill.
From that first initial business of learning this, closing for others and then going into sales full time, that was like a 4-year gap to where you are now, to where you were then. What happened in those 4 years to lead you to the business you have now?
Yeah, I think Corona hit and I was traveling even more. I was escaping the Corona rules into countries where it's more free. And then a friend of mine, she was into social media, but she quitted her job. And I asked her, because we were doing business homeworks together and reflecting on it. And I asked her, hey, what are you doing? Like social media, could this be something for me? And in the end, we ended up founding social media agency together. So she had the expertise. I was kind of learning, but I had all the business skills already, how to open a business and the sales. So that was my first own proper business, the agency. But because she was really young, so a year later, she was like 20, but very entrepreneurial already. She launched an app when she was 15. So I was really inspired by her. But then she wanted to go on a world travel, and now she started studies. So this is then when we kind of closed the agency, because she didn't see herself there anymore, because she was still on the trip to find herself, And somehow I met another lady, because we've known each other for some time, in Mexico to go for Joe Dispenza. And then when we met again, she was telling me about, she's a professional closer, and she wanted to teach this to other ladies, because sales is so manly dominated and so pushy, and us ladies, we do sales a bit differently. We also learn differently than guys in most of the cases. And I was just trying to give her some business tips again, how she could start with all this, the structure and everything. And then we ended up doing this together. So we founded our business sales academy together. So this is the business I'm running right now.
How long have you been running that business now?
It's nearly 2 years.
So from that journey of being in the military, knowing you wanted something different, putting yourself on, stages in South Africa, talking about business, and then launching your first business, and now having the business you have now, what do you think were some of the pivotal moments or challenges that you encountered during that journey?
One challenge for sure is that I find it easier to sell for others than for yourself in the beginning. Because you really have to own your product, you really have to own your own company, you have to stand behind it and know that it's really good and making a transformation for other people, your clients. But once you own it, once you know and you see also the results in your clients, then it's easier to stand up for yourself and to also go into sales calls for yourself, for your own company, your own product. And I think another very, very, very huge learning I had, because I had so many different business partners for my sales. Some of them I would not even want to go on a vacation with or go live in Bali with together in a villa. No, I'm telling you, I would pick up the call. I know as a German I'm very dedicated and I'm very driven. I'm committed, so I would pick the call because my business partners are calling or we have to do something for the client. But private-wise, I would not ask them for advice for, relationship or for something to buy or whatever. So nowadays, I'm way more picky of who to work with. I observe more until I partner up, because I really also want to look at my WhatsApp in my free time and go like, hey girl, or hey guy, no, I've got some really nice news, or hey, I've seen a villa or some nice, vacation or a trip. Shall we do this together? I want to introduce you to someone. So it's more about the personal level, because your business partners are the best coaches as well, because they trigger you, they show you some of your shadows maybe. You have to be a team.
We'll get back to the podcast in 1 minute, but I just wanted to let you know the sponsor of this week's episode, which is me. So I've got a free 5-day email course that will help anyone with a 9-to-5 or a beginner solopreneur start and scale their business to $1,000 per month. So you can find the link in the description in this podcast episode. Click on it. It's free to sign up. You'll get 5 emails from me teaching you and walking you through how to start your one-person business and make your first $1,000 per month recurring. So I'll see you there, and thank you for listening to this episode. So you've worked with a variety of different partners, and from what you said, it almost sounds like getting a business partner is almost like marriage. You want to be able not to just have a business with this person, but also to like this person.
To my mind, yeah.
What is the criteria you have now? Because you said you've got, you take time to think if you do want to partner with this person. What's the criteria you have to be like, okay, this is the person I want to work with, and this is the person I definitely don't want to work with?
I think now, like my identity right now doesn't think the way I was thinking 5 years before. So to all those aspiring solopreneurs, maybe you think differently in 5 years. Because nowadays, I think it's very important that the business partner is compatible. So I have different strengths, and I don't want my business partner to have the same strength. So that way we can match up better, and she can cover up. But then I have very high standards. So all the skills I have, I want her to know at least the basics. So if I'm not available, or I don't know, I'm on the plane or whatever, she can also cover up, and like the same with her. So that we are a really strong team. And also, like, I realized I really like to work on the business and structure and with the networking. And usually my business partners, they are a bit more creative, and they rather like to do the running business. So there's also a nice task distribution.
I was about to ask with that question is, what do you think your core strengths are?
I think because I went to the military and also German, I like to optimize, I like to analyze, I like to build structures. I hate it when in Google Drive there's no like nice structure or some colors, or even for the eyes, so that you can build with it. Because if you have to do this all over again or at the end, you might as well do it right from the beginning. So it's less work for anyone, because you will soon start to delegate stuff or outsource stuff, or even like some minor stuff to get some more time for like maybe a sister or like someone else can do it. Then you want to also have it not understandable for you or maybe your business partner, but also for the freelancer.
Why was it important for you, for your little sister to see you on stage?
I'm the oldest of 4 children, and I find it so important to step up, to be a role model, to prove, like not tell, to show, not tell. And yeah, it was also mentally supportive for me because it's a little sister, so I had to make it. I knew I was going to make it. But if she can see it, she knows and feels, oh, okay, if my sister can do it, I can do it too. And that way it gives her self-confidence. Self-confidence, I think, is everything you need, whatever you want to achieve in life.
What are some things you learned in the military that you've applied to your business?
I think what we talked about already, like to structure everything and to have a overall view about things you're going through, but then also to focus, because wherever focus goes, energy flows. And if you want to build something, you are setting an intention for the universe or for, I don't know, opportunities to come in as we are sitting here in the podcast, because I was looking on WhatsApp in the chat. So it's the focus to not get too much distraction. And I think because I was sometimes in the evenings in the military back in the days a bit frustrated because I didn't have the surrounding and everything. So I was reflecting a lot. I think if you reflect on your life, different life areas, if you would give it
like a score?
Yeah, like a score, you would see where you're at and which, because every life area is affecting the other areas too. So if you just work on one, again, focus maybe on one, then you will affect the others too. And that's actually what we do in our business academy too. We do drill training. Because in the military, you drill, like to be safe on the weapon or commandos or whatever, because there's a lot of leadership involved too. And if you repeat something over and over and over again, the result must be that you are developing something, even if you're really crappy in the beginning. So drill is something really good, which comes back to focus over and over again.
So what are some of the things you get your coaching clients or people in your program to drill over and over again?
So we do drill training with objection handling, this for sure. But then also we do role plays to learn how to have a closing call, the different parts, so that you do it over and over again. Probably drill training in a different way when I have my one-on-one clients is to talk about their limiting beliefs and the affirmations. And then there's maybe one special advice for you. You can also practice this at home. You can do a voicemail to yourself with very inspiring affirmations or things you want to hear that other people tell you or that you tell yourself with your own voice, and then listen to this over and over again. This is a very efficient drill training too, especially in the morning or in the evening when you go to bed or when you're just about to get up, because then you're in the theta state with your brain, which goes straight to your subconscious, because your consciousness is still a little bit, sleepy.
With this journey you went on, how did you handle fear, self-doubt, uncertainty, or even judgment from peers in the military?
I think first of all, you have to be kind of vulnerable and open to look into yourself and to admit that this exists, because many people just swallow it away or they don't even look at it. So if you're open for it and you face it, that's already the first step, I believe. And then I think it's very crucial to not talk to people who are maybe not open for this topic, but people where it's safe to open up, people who can maybe give you a nice advice on it, or they would not judge you because you want to grow and reflect on those fears or overcome certain anxieties. So choose the right people where you can open up and feel safe.
What did you value 5 years ago that you no longer value now?
I think because I traveled a lot, like in Asia, Australia, Africa. I love Africa, South America. I like to collect souvenirs or bring things to home and save them, kind of. And so I had so many things. My room was kind of full for maybe later my apartment, or I don't know, pictures on the walls, or very visual. And now that I don't have a home base anymore, like I've been traveling probably for the past 6 years with my suitcase mainly, I really appreciate not collecting things anymore, but rather creating memories or doing things like this. So I have nice emotions about events or things I did. And so I would consider the minimalism as my new luxury rather than collecting everything.
How do you think traveling has impacted your business growth?
A lot. Because I think I'm gifted to speak, English. My mother language is German, French, then also a bit Spanish and Portuguese. So if you have the knowledge and the capability to talk to so many people from other countries, obviously you also observe their system, the way they operate, how they do service, how clean they work, or how much they value time or being on time. And then you also can compare a little bit their business models, or if you talk about it. So this opens your horizon so much because you see so many different perspectives and you then compare it to yourself. I think, us Germans, we are very project or procedure driven and, made in Germany. So it's really nice and neat quality. But then we also maybe sometimes think too much what could happen, or maybe we should think twice before we do it. Whereas Americans, for example, they just go for it. No matter what, like where the German is still sitting there, calculating, being very precise. The Americans already were there and sold something. The product didn't exist yet or whatever. But it's also a nice approach if you want to open up your mindset a bit and go like, okay, maybe I should, copy a little bit of that and be a bit more open and more promoting myself. So you can always learn from the cultures and adopt whatever feels good to you and authentic.
I think I know what you're going to say to this question, but what's the most valuable skill you needed as a solopreneur / entrepreneur / digital nomad?
Sales. Sales, and also to sell yourself. Because this is how I started. Like I sold myself a lot, and then I know how to do sales. Because it doesn't matter what business you want to start. Even as a solopreneur, you always have to sell yourself. You have to sell your product. You have to sell your company. You have to sell your method. So in any business you do, it's always sales. And then in addition to that, you have maybe a video editing skills, and then you have marketing skills, then you have copywriting skills, then you have fulfillment, coaching skills, you have ads skills, whatever. But in the first place, you always have to market yourself, sell yourself. And yeah, I think if you can do that, it's so easy you will never be unemployed anymore. Because even if you don't have a business, you sell products for others. If you can stand behind it, will resonate with it.
If I was a client of yours, and obviously I'm not your target demographic because you target women, teaching them coaching and teaching them sales. But if I came to you and said, I hate sales, I don't know where to start, what's the first 1 to 3 things you'd tell me to do?
Well, I do one-on-one business starter mentorings, or they're with males. They're really nice because they're really fast. I think I would work with you on your mental state, because for now it's okay. You don't want to do sales, and I'm sure there's something behind it why you believe that, which is perfectly fine. But then if you had the intention, I would like to change that, I hate sales, but maybe can you give me an advice? Then you are open to do something about it, right? Even though you have a resistance to it, which is still fine. So I would not even pressure you or anything. I would just go on a easy conversation, and maybe look behind your beliefs, why this is still serving you, and what could make you change it, and then give you some exercises or work some limiting beliefs out, and also always ask you and check in, okay, how does it feel now, so that you also own it and grow with it.
What do you think are the biggest mistakes solopreneurs make when it comes to sales?
In Germany, we would say they are a Erklärbär, so they would be explaining everything and everything and everything, but the client did not even say anything about his pains or his wishes or his aims. They just would talk this customer into the sales, like into buying it. So listening is very, very important, and also knowing the structure of a sales call, because in the beginning you want to frame the call really nicely, so that it would give the client a safe space to open up, because the client needs to open up so that you know what he or she is aiming for. And then also asking the right questions, listening between the lines. Yeah, and then when you present the coaching, your product, you should first present it so that the other person is understanding the value before you mention the price. Because otherwise, there's no comparison, right? So these might be beginner mistakes people are doing in sales. And in the end, if maybe the client doesn't buy yet, he wants to think about it or whatever, never ever leave a call without having a follow-up appointment. That's the worst. Because if the client is saying, okay, I'm going to get back to you, I email you, I message you, you're probably not. It depends how you frame the call altogether.
What's the best way to frame a sales call? Say you jump on and you're selling me X products. How would you frame it? Let's just say it's a high-ticket product above $3,000.
Yeah, sure. Okay, first of all, I would start with small talk to see if you like small talk. If you are like a direct person, a dominant person, I would skip small talk straight away so that you feel like comfortable. Probably introduce myself shortly, who I am, what's the aim for this conversation now. Then doing a decision anchoring, like that this call is there to make a decision later on. so that he knows, okay, you're gonna buy, maybe not, you're not gonna buy, but I'm not gonna do chit-chatting with you now. Then I may also tell him that I'm gonna ask questions, also maybe deeper questions, and I ask him to be honest and direct with me so I can actually judge the situation. And then I would start why he signed up, why he was getting into contact with me.
I really love the anchoring. What do you call it? The decision anchoring?
Yeah, Entscheidungsanker.
Yeah. And it's kind of, it's a signal saying down the road, maybe in 20 minutes, we're going to have to make a decision here, just so you know it's coming.
In 60 minutes, but yeah, for sure. Because it's also good and safe for the other one, because then he knows what he's at, right?
Yeah. What are some emerging trends or technologies that you're particularly excited about? How do you see them influencing the future of sales or your field?
I think AI is coming up more and more. We cannot avoid it anymore. I love ChatGPT. I do work with it daily. I can't even imagine how we were able to work without ChatGPT before. I don't even know.
It's only 2 years old. It's only 2 years old. It's only been
I think I started using it maybe a year or and so I was so
change your life.
Yeah, every day. It's so nice, but it's also very inspiring, right? Anyway, but yet I think sales will never be replaced, because people are buying from people, and you cannot replace. Like you would not buy from a AI. So I think many other parts of the business or business branches are being replaced one by one because of technology. But then I think service-oriented branches and things like sales, or where an AI cannot adjust something, they will still remain.
What's a big trend in the future of work that you see that most people aren't talking about?
I think working remote is such a trend. You know, statistically, there are more men being a solopreneur or becoming a business owner. And I think because there's more and more female energy coming to this planet, I think also women rise up a little bit and step into their power and maybe go for the solopreneurship or stand up for themselves. And I think we will be using way more AI in daily life, even in business. That's this we can't avoid anymore.
Aside from sales, what advice would you give for someone who's just starting out on their solopreneurship journey?
I think I would have a look at what are my core values. Because if you know what your core values are, you know how you will structure your business, what kind of clients you will attract or you will want to attract and work with, or freelancers or business partners, corporation partners, podcast partners, workshop partners, whatever. Because then you're more aligned to your values, or you have the clarity of what values actually matter to me. And maybe also defining no-goes, like where are your red flags, what are your no-goes that you really don't want to do, don't want to accept, so that you have this clarity in your business.
What are 1 to 3 of the most impactful books you've read?
Okay, most of them are in German, but English ones. From Robert Kiyosaki, it's Rich Dad Poor Dad for teenagers. Because I gave it to my little sister because she was a teenager, and then I also read it, and it's so nice because it's in a very simple language, and like it's so nice to grasp, and it gives you another perspective again, you know, about business and money. So that's number 1. Then I love Joe Dispenza. It's called Become Supernatural, I think. It's bluish. It's so nice because it tells you about your power of your brain and your body, the body intelligence, but in a very scientific way also. So for those who are not so spiritual, that's a good approach for neuroscience and to develop your new identity as a solopreneur. And the third one, well, that's a really nice one. It's called Frau Geld, like Mrs. Money. It's in German. I think from Bodo Schäfer. I think he translated it into English. It's called A Dog Named Money. It's a really pragmatic story about a dog and how business and money is functioning. If you want to have a book that's more system critically I'll probably go for some really good Bitcoin books because they tell you about the society, how it functions, and how we trust, how we interact with each other.
What advice would you give to your 29-year-old self?
I would probably say learn as many skills as you can, but at least perfectionize one or two, because if you have skills, there's always the demand. You won't be unemployed, you can travel, you can work remotely, like you have so many options. And if you have options, you will never be on shortage, or life is so much easier, less stressful. Even if it's playing the guitar or singing, it's also like a skill that's demand for, I don't know, if you want to live this life, a vacation or something in the city where people are asking for it, like in theater or something.
Is there any message you want to leave with the audience?
It's never too late to start business and to learn a new skill. We have ladies in our academy, they are 45, 50 years old.
Wow.
And they still learn sales. They step up for themselves because the children are out of the house now. And so it's never too late.
Where can people find out more about you and also the business that you run?
So I'm mainly on Instagram. So you can find me under Tasha.international. Tasha with no C, so TASHA.international. You find everything there. The Business Sales Academy, if you want to learn to have one skill and work fast remote. Or also if you want to go for Existenzgründer coaching, like if you're a business starter in Germany and you want to get some like startup money from the government, you can also reach out because I'm certified, and then you can do the Gründungscoaching, which is business coaching. So mainly on Instagram, Tasha.international.
Do you have any special gifts, discounts that you want to share with the audience?
It's my birthday soon on the 12th of December. I am gifted to celebrate it in Bali and the heat. So you can send me the word freedom or mention the word freedom, and then you will get bonuses and special gifts. We discuss whatever the best for you right now, and then you get the birthday gift.
Hello, friends, and thank you again for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard and got value from the podcast, I would love for you to share it with a friend who also wants to start, grow, and scale their solopreneur business or on their own one-person business journey. And if you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.